One, go.
TGIF Warriors. Yesterday in our chat room, in our trading room, I put out a buy in euro. That was at 1588. So you have about 75 pips on that trade so far. You should be booking half like usual. Before I get to the markets, I want to talk a little bit about what the news really isn't making much of a big deal about, and that's the bombing of Damascus. And I'm not going to get into, that it's an Old Testament prophecy from Ezekiel, but I want to talk about the practical aspects and how this could expand into a wider regional war because Turkey was behind the government and the people that came in to overthrow Assad and take control. And we all know what's happening in Turkey. The economy has been decimated by the lira losing, I don't know, 90%. People are paying exorbitant prices for food. So there's a lot of discontent in the streets. That's why his political oppositions, most of them being mayors, have been arrested and locked up. Okay, so Erdogan could probably, a dictator's playbook is when there's problems domestically, have something internationally happen, get involved in some type of conflict, because at times that unites the country despite the hardships its citizenry is going through. There is no love lost from Turkey towards Israel. And what even complicates it more is that if there uh, conflict does begin between Turkey and Israel over the destruction of Damascus, which is the oldest city on the planet, they're a NATO member. So that also complicates the matter. So just like I had vibes about that there would be an attack on Iran, this kind of came to me, this thought, when I saw the brief news story about Syria being bombed by Israel. So just something to put in your thinking cap. It's not actionable, at least not now, but I could imagine if something like this happens in the fall and we get a nice break going into the fall in precious metals, how that could really be a catalyst for the next wave to all-time highs in the gold from wherever the low comes in. So I want to talk about what's happened this week. You guys know I covered my long dollar positions last Friday, and the dollar did follow through. We got all the way up to 98.50, so I left a point on the table, but I more than compensated from it with my buys in oak, which performed quite well up until today. Nice little rally in MEX that I said there was a heartbeat down here. This too was a nice scalp where you should have been able to take advantage of something. I tried the Aussie long prematurely in here, and this is when we had the spike in the dollar, and that did not work out. The other trade that was pretty big, depending upon how you managed it, was the S&P turnaround Tuesday sell up here around 6,300. So you should have had partials. I mean, I took partials only nine handles lower. It was almost a 100 point, 100 point decline. So that was your max you could have gotten out of it. And then on Wednesday, I said to sell a rip to 62.60, and that's when the Powell news initially broke. So that scalp, if you take my methodology seriously, you had plenty of room to take partials and go to BE on that as well. Where we're at right now, you know me, probe, protect partials, and protect your remainder. So I'm going to try this again. I'm not doing it on a Friday. Maybe I should, but we're still diverging on multiple time frames here. So I'll be most likely attempting shorts again in the S&Ps. I still think that it should be not much of a problem when it gets underway to test prior record highs of 6130 and possibly deeper. So we'll attack that next week, and hopefully it doesn't fall apart on a Friday today. So now I want to talk about the currencies. And besides being long euro, I just want to take a kind of a daily view to talk my position, talk my book, since I'm long euro, thinking that there's a chance for new highs. I just want you to take a look at the yen. Now, this was a solid advance, right? And you guys remember short in here, long 143, looking for this high to be taken out, which it accomplished. Okay. But this was a very nice rally. USD NOK had a pretty nice rally up until today, right? Actually, it looked like a head and shoulders, was putting in higher lows when the dollar was making its lows. And now here's the dollar trade. Pretty weak rally. I know we diverge. It's a shade under 30. But I want to warn people right now. I'm long the euro. I think there is a chance for new highs, or at least a decent failing rally. So the real critical spot in the dollar for everyone to pay attention to, which I think will weaken the case for this being a bottom, is this pin. This spike was on the inflation news Monday. This spike was on the Powell possibly being fired news, and then the denial by Trump. So if we start taking out these levels, 96, 30-ish, that's going to weaken the case and tell me that there's probability for lower lows in the dollar. Um, and, this always bothered me, this confirmed low. And the euro, why I still have not given up on it is if you look at the daily on the euro, um, besides it being grinding, except for a pretty good down day the other day, we have a confirmed high here in the euro. So now, if we made new highs, I don't think we're going to trade over 70, get over a 70 reading on the RSI. So that would play into one more high terminal thrust out of this triangle for a new high, and perhaps Dixie taking out this low. And then what would we have? You could call this drive one, you could call this drive two. And if we get a new low down towards 95, we'll have a three drive to a bottom on a daily. So going into the weekend, that's my preferred scenario. Uh, Also, rates, been real right about rates, all the way back down from 420. We're coming off a little bit. I'm not sure that's it. And, I was talking about a few weeks ago that TLT was going to take out the Moody's downgrade low, and that was up here with a trigger under 87 and a half. I still think that's very viable that we're going to take this low out. So if that happens, I have to think that there's going to be a little fear coming into um, risk with yields on the 30-year and 20-year making new highs. So I think that could be the catalyst for that 3 to 5% correction that we get in the S&Ps. Maybe it's got another 40 handles in it. Um, Maybe not. Gold held where it had to yesterday, right on this trend line. So I don't think we're going to new highs here. We might try 3,400, especially if I get that bout of dollar weakness. I don't think we'll make a new high. And I still am looking for lower numbers, 3,000, 2920 as a possibility for the next major buy point in the gold. Silver trying to recover. Silver had a confirmed high at the top, but we're back inside this, confirmed high says, silver should make a new high based upon the RSI work. Maybe we're going to rally with gold for one more high. I saw someone post a fifth wave extension would take it to $40. So those are my views. Going home looking for shorts and S&Ps. Let's see if the dollar can hold that. Dixie can hold 97.30. See if the euro could eke out a new low, a new high, while the dollar makes a new low. I don't think cable will make a new high, but if you look at the support level it held, maybe we get a rally back to 36.50, which would give it a look of a potential head and shoulders top. So that's what I see going into the weekend. Let me know. Uh, if you have any questions for me, leave it in the comments. And hope you check the room for this Euro buy. We'll see what happens here over the next several days to see if we could crack this downtrend line, make a new high, and not confirm it with RSI above this, what was this, 1830 high. So all we need is new highs over 1830 to clean out the Euro bears, and then I'm going to be pretty interested in that. And if we get the weakness in the dollar, maybe that helps the S&Ps for a few days as well. Hope that I'm adding value to what you're trying to accomplish in a very difficult endeavor. Have a great weekend. Look at your work, be ready to execute, and have your plans drawn up over the weekend so that you're executing and not analyzing and executing on the fly. And most of all, remember, don't just count your pips, count your blessings. Adios and see you Monday.